Hello and welcome. Oh boy. Oh man. Oh man. After a brief break over the weekend, I am back with a new episode of LeeLive, a couple of new experiences to share with you guys. We have a great show for you tonight. There's always a lot to talk about. Always a lot of information to cover. A lot of things to talk about. Definitely got to play around with the volume. I would love to have background noise at some point in the future, but we'll definitely have to figure out how that's going to work. But oh man, was this weekend something else? I spent almost the entire time playing video games and just all around enjoying myself, ignoring the coronavirus that's encircling me from every direction. I'm still feeling well. I haven't coughed a lot, so I haven't gotten it yet. But we'll have to see just how long that lasts, how long I can hold out here, and continue doing shows for you guys. I'm taking the steps. I think I'm hoping I can get through it, and let's hope for a cure soon. I'm very, very, very anxious to see an end to this, so I can move on with my life and stop obsessing over it so much. So anyway, enough about me. Let's talk video games, or specifically the PlatinumGames controversy, or specifically the Wonderful 101 PlatinumGames controversy, where we have the president of PlatinumGames admitting outright that they didn't need the money for the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter was completely pointless. It had no purpose whatsoever, and according to this article, all it was for was producing goods instead of just porting the game like they should have. It was embarrassing. It really, really was embarrassing to see people try to damage control this, try to spin this as a good thing, a positive thing. It's just a pre-order system. But really what you've done is you've given Platinum money for nothing. Like a couple of cheap goods. That's all it comes down to. They didn't need your money to release this game, and so many people are still damage controlling this. They're still up in arms about it. They will still damage control this company. It hasn't really sunk in yet what exactly Platinum is doing here and what the future has in store for this video game company. Japanese studio PlatinumGames shocked quite a few people when it launched a crowdfunding campaign for a remaster of the Wii U title Wonderful 101. Not only was the game a Nintendo exclusive, it was also something of a commercial flop upon release. PlatinumGames later revealed that it had done a deal with Nintendo to relaunch the title, but there were still questions over why the company had decided to take the Kickstarter route, especially when it was confirmed that the game would release in May of this year. In an interview with Gamatsu at PAX East, PlatinumGames' Atsushi Inaba finally admitted what many had suspected. The Kickstarter wasn't anything to do with raising funds, but more to gauge interest in such a project. So instead of launching a Twitter poll, a social media campaign, teasing it, they decided to launch a Kickstarter, which I think is very disrespectful towards paying customers. I think asking for money for something like this is downright sleazy and unacceptable. I think what they're trying to do is open the floodgates for the future, where they are undoubtedly going to be begging for more money in the future, because I think they will be doing that with a lot of these self-published titles. There's going to be more, a lot more e-begging. There's going to be a lot more Kickstarter campaigns, a lot more ways to donate. They're essentially asking fans to contribute to their business in a way that goes above and beyond what a consumer would be expected to do. Like, you should just be able to give your money to a game and get it. Like, you shouldn't have to pay for it to be developed. I'm very, very much against this Kickstarter model. For the most part, it's always been a disaster. The Wonderful 101, the thing that gets me about the Wonderful 101 is that it was an actually already finished game. They're not even producing a new product. They're just re-releasing it on other consoles, and they really, really didn't need to do that. It'll be very interesting to see how well this game does on when it actually comes out, because my assumption is that it's gonna be full Shenmue 3 and completely bomb, because all of the most hardcore fans donated to the Kickstarter, and no one's going to actually buy it or buy it in stores, and it's going to be a disaster in sales. When your most dedicated fans are kickstarting your project, it's going to tank your actual retail releases, especially for these niche consoles that nobody cares about, PS4 and PC. Nobody wants to play the game on those consoles. Like, nobody does. The only reason anybody is saying they are is to stick it to Nintendo fans. There's no actual interest among those communities to buy or play this game, as I'm sure you're all aware. It was more about gauging interest. Like, the only reason this got as much attention as it did is because, this is a cult classic Wii U game. I would say it's probably the best game on the console. And, it has a lot of online hype, but that doesn't translate to real sales. Kickstarter does not gauge interest. Like, that's what I'm getting at here. It is not necessary to do this. It makes me completely irritable to see them try to damage control this, because I do think people are, including myself chief among them, are questioning Platinum for their decisions, because we know at this point that Nintendo was going to publish this game. We know that Platinum is now admitting that they didn't need the Kickstarter to port the game themselves, to publish the game themselves. They're just... There was no reason to ask for people's money. It's just ridiculous to see people continue to push this narrative that there was something admirable about this decision. Like, there was something good about it, that it's something to get hype about. No. This was a big, big, big disappointment. I was not impressed. Platinum Games has completely dropped the ball. I am not impressed at all. I don't want to support them. I will be covering this situation going forward. I'll be talking about how well the game actually sells when it comes out in May. I'll be talking about the attache rate. I'll be talking about customer satisfaction. I'll be covering this, okay? And I do think this is the beginning of the end for Platinum as a company. This was just a indicator that something was horribly wrong with the approach they were taking to self-publish their games. But there are a couple of other signs that this was terrible. Project GG won't be set in Japan. It'll be more than an action game, and it's not too far off. Project GG is the actual new game that Platinum Games announced recently, and it was just a really generic trailer of some guy fighting a giant monster. It looked very, very uninspired, very, very basic. They didn't show any gameplay. It feels like they announced it way, way, way too soon. And they still don't know anything about it. It's kind of interesting. It was so amazing looking at this, how Platinum fixated more on, let's talk about, it's self-published, you have to support us. It won't be a very niche kind of game. Yeah. So, yeah. But I haven't decided yet. So the setting will probably not be Japan, as that might be restrictive. But I haven't decided yet. It's so interesting. Statements like that. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I can't say. I don't know. It doesn't have a clear focus. It feels more like this game exists to kind of justify Platinum going independent. But when you get right down to it, a game just like this came out under the Nintendo partnership. The Wonderful 101, there is no need for this to be self-published. In fact, everything I'm seeing seems to indicate that this is going to be a very, very poor, a very, very poor decision, and like really, really poorly affect the game very, very negatively. I don't see as much time or resources being put into this as it was for the Wonderful 101. Like the Wonderful 101 is probably like the second or third best action game ever made, and already I'm kind of like raising. There's nothing about this that's exciting me. There's nothing about this that's interesting to me, and seeing them always hype up this this shit, like they're throwing all these labels at it. Oh, it's part 3 of the Hideki Kamiya trilogy. Yeah, I love how the Wonderful 101 wasn't part of a trilogy, but this somehow is. The Wonderful 101 were pure action games. This will be not like that. So it's going to be complete shit. Yeah. There will be much more to it than that. I remember him describing Scalebound in much the same terms, and we all know how that turned out. I don't... I've just played through the Space Area segment in Bayonetta on Infinite Climax. I don't want to see anything other than pure action games from Hideki Kamiya. I can tell you that much. Platinum Games would love to port Project GG to as many platforms as possible, and its release date may not be too far away. Yeah, basically we'd like to hit PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and Steam. Why is PS4 getting top building? We don't know exactly when those will come out. Yeah. Yeah, this is just ridiculous. It really is to see them try to damage control this and hype it up and try to make it exciting. Oh, hey, what's up? Just covering the Wonderful 101. Let's see. It's going extremely well so far. Yeah. So none of this was necessary. Essentially, the Kickstarter was completely unnecessary, as I've been saying, and all the evidence we've been seeing seems to point to that. I am just all around very, very unimpressed with. Oh, damn! I forgot. This is what I wanted to talk about. This was the blog I specifically wanted to bring up. I'm talking about where Platinum Games was right now. I was just talking about where Platinum Games was right now, but this is where Platinum Games is going. This is what they've been hyping up for the past couple of days, and you can tell by how often they're blogging about it and like giving interviews about it and like pointing it out in their like press release conferences. This is something they're very, very excited by. And what better way to start than laying out where Platinum Games goes from here? Along the way, I'll go into a bit more detail about the Capital Alliance we recently formed with Tencent Holdings, too. So if you don't know who Tencent is, what Tencent is, congratulations, you're not Chinese. They are essentially the biggest games company in China. And by games company, I mean they make derivative mobile trash, which is why Platinum Games was founded in February 2006. That's over 14 years of working hard to make games that meet and exceed the expectations of all our fans. Whether your company is brand new or going into its 15th year, it's always important to draw a clear picture of your path forward. This is tricky because it means balancing what you want to do with what you can do. You can't let yourself get carried away into fantasy, of course, but if you're too rational and realistic, you'll end up selling yourself short. You have to lay out a vision for the near future that's just practical enough without getting distracted by things that are too far down the line to imagine. So what does the near future look like for Platinum Games? Believe me, we've had no shortage of spirited discussion about that over the past few years. Our mission is to keep making high-quality games that exceed your expectations as gamers. Our ultimate ambition, becoming the #1 game studio in the world for gamer satisfaction. Naturally, that's been our goal since the very beginning. The question is, how can we get there? Not forming a partnership with Tencent would be a good start. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. They do describe what this partnership means, but that's what I wanted to bring up here. Up until now, all of our work has been contracted with various publishers. We decided as a company that the next big step on our journey to the top is to start creating and publishing games all on our own. With that in mind, it was time to get real and figure out the specific things we could do to make that happen. We decided that what we needed was a partner to give us a boost. I gotta love how this big-brained individual in order to fund his self-publishing agenda or his dream, he partnered with Tencent of all companies, and that is going to end in disaster. I can tell you that right now. So. We decided that what we needed was a partner to give us a boost, which brings me to our recently announced capital alliance with Tencent. I'd like to go into a bit more detail about that now. First of all, let me assure you that this partnership won't place any restriction on our development style or the kinds of titles we create. There are several forms that a capital alliance can take, but any alliance that would cost us our autonomy as a studio would defeat the whole purpose of our mission. Tencent isn't going to allow you to stay independent forever. That's the thing. Like, they're going to just control you more and more until you're only putting out mobile games. That's the entire reason this is a terrible idea. So what do we get out of the Capital Alliance exactly? It's given us a stronger foundation and let us move concretely towards the following goals. Creating a new title with a 100% Platinum Zone Games IP. But if Tencent owns you, that's kind of pointless. Like, if Tencent owns you and controls you, it's not 100% your IP. Like, publishing games on our own. If you're partnered with Tencent, you're not publishing games on your own. Are expanding our development power through PlatinumGames Tokyo. Yep. So, they bought an entirely new building because of this partnership. They bought an entirely new building and are hiring to develop mobile trash, essentially. Platinum Games is one of the few studios in Japan that specializes in developing high-end console games for the global market. Making games for top-of-the-line hardware takes a great deal of money, and so up until now, we've only played the role of developer, partnering up with publishers who finance and sell the games we make. Going forward, we will continue to work with outside publishers, but we'll also develop and publish titles entirely on our own. We've announced the first Platinum IP already with Project GG, and there are more to come in the future. My assumption of what's going to happen is that GG is either going to do very poorly or downright disastrously, and a lot of these other planned projects are never going to surface or going to be developed with a partner in mind. Going stronger as a developer is another major goal of ours. Since 2006, we've been entirely focused on Osaka as a hub for development. Our bustling Osaka office is currently home to 200 great game creators, but we want to welcome even more creators into the fold by drawing on the power of Tokyo, too. Our Capital Alliance provided the perfect opportunity. With the establishment of Platinum Games Tokyo, we're perfectly poised to make use of the finest game creators in both Western and Eastern Japan. Okay, so basically, they asked for money for the Wonderful 101 Kickstarter and immediately built or bought an entire building. It just... I've talked about this before, but this is very, very shady. I'd like to close out this blog by explaining why we chose Tencent as our partner. One major reason is something I touched on earlier. They respect our autonomy as game creators. Okay, that is the reason. That is the reason I wanted to single this blog post out, because I do not believe that. Not at all. Tencent? Fucking Tencent? Like, Tencent is like... I don't even know... Like, you are delusional if you straight up think Tencent is going to allow you to do whatever you want. Like, it's just going to hand you money to, like, release bombs. Like, that's not going to happen. They are going to force you to make mobile games aimed at Chinese people. Like, that is what they're doing. And Platinum actually thinks that Tencent is going to give them autonomy and independence and help them, like, continue to develop great console games, which is simply not going to happen. I don't support Blizzard anymore because of Tencent's influence, or specifically Chinese as a whole influence. People. A big reason why people are so fed up with Blizzard right now is because of the Chinese. I believe Tencent owns a little bit of Blizzard. I'll have to get read up on that, but like, there's a reason that Blizzard is so unwilling to go against the will of the Chinese, and I see this as like another example of that, where like the games you love are simply not going to be made anymore. Platinum has sold out. It's not obvious yet. They're still talking about independence and developing great single-player games, but Give it 5 years, give it 10 years. Platinum Games will either no longer exist or be a shell of its former self. The comparison I've been coming up with is it's like what happened with Rareware, right? Where Microsoft came in, bought the company, and Nintendo sold it off. They refused to continue supporting it because they saw the writing on the wall. They knew that things were going to go downhill, and there was no reason to continue supporting this studio that had nothing to offer them. And what happened? Rareware did not put out a single good game after the Microsoft acquisition. Like Rabbi the Ghoulies, Perfect Dark Zero, Cameo, like all these games that Viva Pinata, games that like I believe started on Nintendo hardware during the Nintendo years, like came out and were completely forgettable, and nobody cares about them, and nobody really refers to them when talking about the golden age of Rare. Like I think most people would agree that Perfect Dark was probably the end of it. The last great game they ever put out at the turn of the millennium, and Conquer has problems. Star Fox Adventures is Star Fox Adventures, even worse. Funny that I bring up Star Fox, considering I am going to talk about Star Fox today. But yeah, this is not something I do not believe this. Tencent is not going to respect Platinum. In addition, Tencent values our technical and design abilities very highly and believes our original IPs have potential in the Chinese and smartphone markets in which they specialize. In other words, it's a win-win situation. So Platinum is going full mobile, aimed at Chinese audience. And if you know anything about how the Chinese mobile audience works, it's going to be complete cancer, it's going to be complete trash, and it's going to ruin everything good about Platinum. I would suggest, preemptively suggest, or tell you not to support Platinum mobile games in the future. There is no justifying this kind of behavior. There's no use supporting it. They're not going to magically go back to making the games they used to make. It's a lot like Rareware. Like I said, you just cannot support these people. You can't give them money for fucking you over. Actively fucking you over. Selling out to Tencent, I think, is the worst thing Platinum has ever done. It's not obvious yet, but just give it a little bit. Wait for GG to bomb. Wait for the Wonderful 101 to bomb. Wait for whatever Platinum Project 4, whatever the actual real game announcement is going to be. Bayonetta 3, I think, might actually be the last relevant game they ever put out. I have that low expectations. I think they've gone completely downhill in the past couple of years. Very, very disappointing. Has this guy always been the president? I don't know who this guy is. I thought Inaba was the president. I guess I'm just. Oof. All right, so that's hello. Platinum is out here pretending that they were getting constantly screwed over by publishers like Grasshopper was. Yeah, I know. I did point that. Okay, so they were fucked over twice, right? Activision and Microsoft. Like all you have to do is don't partner with them anymore. Just like I said. Partner with Nintendo. It's not complicated. It's not difficult. Just continue putting out games for Nintendo hardware. Square Enix, okay. So I have all these problems with Square Enix, right? Like I don't like them, but I have still to this day infinitely more respect for them than I do for Tencent. Like I have no respect for Tencent at all. Like there are companies, Japanese ones primarily, that I think Platinum could do well with. Like Capcom, everyone's begging for Devil May Cry Cross Bayonetta. Square Enix, Konami, they made Metal Gear Rising. Like Nintendo, there are all these options they could have taken. All these routes, all these things. They just make bad decision after bad decision. They should never have made that 3-game deal with Activision, like Transformers, Legend of Korra, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all of which were garbage. Korra fanboys will defend Korra, I think, but for the most part, I think everyone hates them. Cora, just Platinum naively, and I do use that word like very, very strongly, naively believes that if they simply independently publish their games, they ain't gonna get fucked over no more. And that simply isn't gonna happen. I already pointed out that Project GG actually has less views than the Wonderful 101 does on YouTube. Like the announcement trailer has less views. It's very, very noticeable. Yeah, about half the amount of views as the Wonderful 101. You have the IGN trailer and like the PlatinumGames trailer, which is probably it's just it's shaping up to be a disaster. I don't expect Project GD to do well. I expect it to do, I don't know, like Xbox One players definitely won't buy it. PC players probably won't buy it. It just, I expect it's going to have all these problems. I don't really have faith in a Tencent-owned company to deliver a great single-player game. I think it's going to end really, really poorly. Bayonetta 3 is probably going to be the end of it. Let's see. Yeah, I really wonder what Kamiya's role in all this is, because I do think he's changed a lot over the past couple of years. Scalebound, I imagine Scalebound is the reason they've been so adamant about going self-published and going independent, because that game really should have been finished. I have no idea. I have no idea. So, yeah, so I think that's enough about Platinum. I guess we could go over these 4chan threads I have open and see what the general line of thinking is. PlatinumGames is going mobile due to the Chinese. Press F. Correction, they chose the Chinese because they're going mobile. There goes Metal Gear Rising 2. Wonderful 101 will flop. Project GG will flop. The mobile games will flop. How will Platinum survive? Probably begging Nintendo to fund their games again. Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, because Platinum was the problem when it came to that one. Fuck off. Platinum makes... Yeah, there's no way this is going to end in disaster. They respect our autonomy as game creators. Yep. Tencent. Yep, Tencent. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. All right, so that's PlatinumGames going downhill. But let's talk about a game that I think has been severely... Does it have a trailer? Oh, wow, it has a trailer. That's convenient. Oh, wait, no, that's not for Star Fox Assault. Oh, wait. Oh, wow, it actually has Monster Hunter Star Fox content. I had no idea. Okay, so, man, oh man. Star Fox Assault, the game, I think, that was most commonly sort of hyped up as being the antithesis of Star Fox Zero. This is the game that the series should have gone. This is the direction the series should have gone in. Miyamoto's out of touch. Assault was great. It just needed to be refined more. It needed a real sequel. Give Star Fox back to Namco. Do all this stuff. Like, we need to have on-foot missions. We need to have, like, multiplayer. We need to have, like, all of this stuff. And I recently, as in the past couple of days, I think it was yesterday. I recently picked Star Fox Assault off my shelf, popped it in, played it for like the first 2 missions, and then popped it back out because Star Fox Assault is pure garbage. Okay, like pure garbage. Like I would have said that like before I played it, but ever since Zero came out, I've been trying to think, like, okay, I want to go into this unbiased. I want to go into, like, talk about the game's problems and its strengths and its weaknesses. Like, I want to, like, be thorough. Like, I want to, like, know everything. I want to, like, really have my own opinion. And I stand by what I said before. Zero is better than this. Like, 64 is better than this. Even Adventures and Command is better than this, I think. Assault is basic, lazy, uninspired, completely worthless. There's just there's not a whole lot about this game that I liked, and I think the medic score kind of reflects on that. That's about what I would give it. Star Fox Zero has a similar one, I think. Come to think of it, I think Star Fox Zero's Metacritic score is actually higher than that, which is very funny considering how people shitposted about how much people hated. Yep, 0 does have a higher Metacritic than Assault. Wow, I had no idea. I actually never noticed that before. But yeah, that's well deserved. 0 is better than this. It's much more technical. It has way better flying. It has way better missions, way better bosses, way more variety. Like 0, higher skill ceiling. Like 0 is the direction I want to see the series go in. I don't really... Oh, is it actually playing the trailer now? Okay, weird that it's playing the trailer for a 15-year-old game, but okay. Star Fox Assault is just embarrassingly bad. Like, this was the game that the fanboys were hyping up as like the anti-Zero, like the one that Nintendo should try to imitate going forward. Like, ooh, it did everything that 64 did, but better. It has more vehicles. It has like open environments. It has like everything we like about Star Fox, but with more stuff added. That's the logic behind it. But for really, when you get right down to it, it's really basic. It's simple. It's not all that much fun to play. There are worse games to be sure, but compared to 64, 0. Like, it really, really cannot compare. I honestly got bored of it. Like, I couldn't even finish it. I got to mission 3, and I was just like, it's the same thing over and over again. You run around destroying targets, and then something happens, and you have to fight a boss, and it's not that great of a game. It really isn't. Like, 0 stands heads and shoulders above this. I am completely certain of that now. Like, 0, I think, is very, very underrated, and one that I want to see sort of return on Switch in some fashion. Like, maybe a remake with more content, maybe a sequel. I don't know. It's kind of a tricky situation because 0's control scheme is just the greatest thing ever. Like, I cannot play rail shooters anymore. Like, that was a big thing that I took away from Assault and even 64. Like, I have trouble going back to those games because 0's control scheme is so good. Because, like, you can do so much cool shit with the targeting computer, with the gamepad, the Wii U gamepad, which is amazing in that game. You can do so much cool stuff with it. It's just... Ugh. It's a downright travesty that game journalist shills railed on the gamepad so hard because it had so many great uses like Nintendo Land, Fatal Frame 5, Pikmin 3, Star Fox Zero, even Tokyo Mirage Sessions, like Mario Maker. I keep bringing up all these examples of just games that made the gamepad excel. The best controller of the generation, I think. Better, I think, than the Joy-Cons, to be completely honest with you. I like the Joy-Cons just fine, but they're just... there's no screen there! Like, the screen is just... can, when used properly, be a very, very unique tool. Oh, wait. Coming soon to GameCube. Wait, what? I'm sorry to be off track here, but the GameCube is still getting supported. Whoa. Surf's Up is coming to GameCube. Backyard Sports. Wait, what? Shrek Smash and Crash Rage. What? Happy Feet. Nicktoons. Did they not take these games off? Because I know these games were. I know Happy Feet came out on Wii. Cabela's Dangerous Hunts 2? Wait a minute. I own that game. Like, what? So, I own a game that hasn't been scored by Metacritic? That's kind of baffling. Okay. Shadow the Hedgehog from Russia with Love. Shadow the Hedgehog got that low of a score. 51. Beautiful Joe, Red Hot Rumble. Don't own that. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Gun. Ooh, I need to pick that up. Mario Party 7. Damn, there's a lot of stuff I don't. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, Mutant Nightmare. I own the first two. I was just thinking the other day I would like to play the first one again. Let's see. Zatch Bell, Mamoto Battles. I need to watch Zatch Bell again. Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. Damn, there's a lot of shit I have not played. SXL on Tour, Pokemon XD, Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, I would pick that up. Battalion Wars. Great game. Tack, The Great Juju Challenge. Yeast. That's... Why is the... People railed on that so hard. Oh, that's such a great game. Okay, I Killer 7. Oh, 74. Not a 77. You had one job, Metacritic. One job. It's just... Okay, I'm getting carried away here. Getting lost in memories. Ooh, Time Splitters. I would like that. All these games feel like they're being underscored. Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, Mortal Kombat Deception, Star Fox Assault, I already talked about that. Resident Evil 4, 96. Yeah, that's well-deserved. Beautiful Joe 2. That is not well-deserved. What? What? Beautiful Joe 2 is pure shit. Like how did the original get? Batten Kaitos, Metroid Prime 2. Did it get higher than... No, it didn't get higher than Metroid Prime 2. Love Metroid Prime 2. Mario Power Tennis. I'm getting carried away here. Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door. Donkey Konga. I don't own Donkey Konga. Man, there's a lot of stuff here that I don't own. Oh man. Damn, I love the GameCube so much. I got carried away there. All right, so Star Fox Assault is a very... Right now, I think Star Fox fans... Well, immediately after Star Fox Zero came out, like, a lot of people were hyping up Assault. And I really do think it's mostly because of, like, the characters and how they're portrayed. Like, this game tries to have a story. It's not very good, and it's kind of confusing in some respects. Like, Andrew... Like... I was so confused as a kid. Like, I did not realize that Oikini from the beginning is supposed to be Andrew from 64. Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, how do you make a weird mistake like that? Like, I know it's his last name, supposedly, but it's not obvious. It's not, like, explicitly said in the dialogue. It just what it kind of comes out of nowhere. Like, oh, this is... They changed the voice actor. You know, complete garbage. Complete garbage. So yeah, Zero is better. 64 was better. A lot of fanboys hype up Assault, man, but I am dead set against it. I think Nintendo and Miyamoto were completely right in not continuing the Star Fox license in this regard. Like, they reinvented it with Command, and then they brought it back with Zero, and I think they hit gold with Zero. I think people who are actually fans of the Star Fox gameplay really, really love Zero, and that's why I'm kind of pushing for a port or a re-release or a sequel. Zero deserves more attention. Assault does not. Like, Assault deserves to, like, wallow in obscurity. And honestly, you know, now that Zero is a thing and it's technically a reboot, I'm perfectly fine with just letting the continuity just move on. Like, we don't need Assault. It doesn't add anything. It's not really worth playing. There's nothing about it that really sticks out to me. There are so many other better Nintendo games you could be playing. I'm not a fan of Star Fox Assault. Let's see. The GameCube really was hit or miss. For every Metroid Prime and Mario Kart DD, you have Donkey Konga and Star Fox Assault. Yeah, wow. I don't. You reminded me that I still do not own Mario Kart Double Dash. Yeah, I know. Like, I've been wanting to get it for years, literally since like 2004, and I've never gotten around to it. And I think I am going to pick it up soon because I am clearing out my backlog here, and I am making space for more games. But yeah, that's definitely a priority. Assault felt like it should have been a multiplayer game. Yeah, an online multiplayer game. That would have really at least made the game interesting, I think, or memorable. That would have done a lot, but I will say that Assault probably does have the best multiplayer in Star Fox, but that's really not saying a whole lot. Maybe they could have built on that for sequels, but yeah, Assault as a whole was just kind of a downer. Yeah, I think they could redo the gamepad now. Just re-release an attachment for your Joy-Cons and then just plug in and play. It hopefully won't be that expensive. All the tech, I think all the tech on the Joy-Cons should be able to do it. You just need the additional screen. So just release an additional screen, and you'll have Star Fox Zero on Switch. It's going to be glorious. I can't think of anything that... it would have to be an accessory, but I think it's doable. We might have to wait another year. We have to wait until like the negativity towards Star Fox completely dies down. It's died down a lot over the past couple of years, but Zero... Oh no! I was going to talk about... Maybe you could wait until next time, but yeah, I think I will make this a topic next time, but because I do want to talk about something else, but ARMS. Let's see. Hang on. Oh, hey, look, it's my video. Okay. I guess we could just silence it. Yeah, so ARMS. ARMS is, despite the damage control from certain individuals on message boards, on YouTube, on 4chan, on Reset Era, ARMS is making a comeback. Or ARMS is getting new content in the form of the comic that was, the tie-in comic that was announced pre-release. It is still being released, it's still being worked on, and new information should be coming soon. I don't know what took so long, but they are going to release it. And oh no, they're damage controlling this. Let me see if I can find it here. PC gaming era. Whatever. Let's see. Can I search it? Hang on. I guess we could just Google it. ARMS tie-in comic. Right, it was just news. I'm kind of interested in seeing what.
Go straight into some gameplay here. Now, during the global test punch, I never really messed around with setting or getting ARMS because those weren't really options that were available. Right now, setting isn't available because I don't have anything.
Let's see what happened to the ARMS comic.
Getting requires 30 credits to start. I only have 3.
They just confirmed it was being worked on. Oh wait, ARMS 2020. Okay, so it's been confirmed for 2020. Why is it not being covered? Okay. Damn, where did I see the news that it was a? I don't remember.
So we're going to just go ahead and go into the Grand Prix mode. The music here is catchy as heck. We got Springman, Ribbon Girl, Ninjara, Master Mummy,
ARMS for Nintendo Switch, ARMS video game, ARMS. Where's the article?
In the Global Test Punch, Bite and Bark. Also, Kid Cobra new here as well. And Helix was during the Global Test Punch. Now, I only got to do 6 of the global test punches, and
damn,
I
this is ridiculous.
My cat got very ill. He has cancer. He's not going to make it much longer. He's resting right now.
By the way, please support my books on Amazon.
So
let's see. Post videos
in this upcoming week or two.
Hang on.
Just know that it's probably.
Do I not have it here? I can't post it in the chat. I have to go to my video, my own video, and post it in the chat. Unbelievable.
He's near and dear to my heart. I love him so much. And we're just trying to take care of him. I've been dealing with this for 2 weeks
Where's
now.
my video here? There it is.
But for those of you who did see my global test punches, I did 6 of them. I showcased a lot of these characters.
Please support my books if you like my content. I have Cruel and Beautiful, which is a love story featuring a vampire girl, and The Eye of the Dragon, which is essentially a fighting anime. In the vein of Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho, and My Hero Academia. So please check those out. I'd be super grateful. Love them both. All right. And my current project, Rabbit Hole, is in production right now. An update video should be coming soon. I think I'll be hitting a major threshold today, so we'll have to see how that turns out. Please support me for that. Rabbit Hole is going to be great. Please look forward to that. Until then, support my other projects. Okay. So let's see, Dark Horse Comics, ARMS 2020. So it is being released this year.
Of course, ladies and gents, you better load those springs.
Let's see. Is there any more information? I guess I could tweet about it.
I'm Biff.
Share a link on Twitter.
Today, as always, I'm here to talk all things ARMS.
Yep. Awesome. All right. So ARMS.
Fresh from the spring.
Okay. So ARMS is. easily the most underappreciated new Nintendo IP this generation. Possibly the only major one. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head that's come out. Like, maybe Splatoon, but, like, ARMS has kind of been hit with, like, the Nintendo new IP curse, in which, it only sold 2 million units, so it's a failure. People are still trying to pretend that this game is not successful. It's kind of embarrassing at this point. I've always been mocking that sort of mindset and making fun of it, and sort of addressing just how ridiculous it is. A lot of people have sort of convinced themselves that ARMS is a failure. What did I just do?
Throw. There we go. Nice.
No!
All right, here we go.
There we go. Okay.
All right, what's happening?
Okay, I thought I messed something up, but okay. Okay, so ARMS is
He hit me. He's guarding. Grab him. What?
A really deep technical fighting game.
What is this?
Very, very enjoyable. This isn't my own gameplay, but oops. So yeah, ARMS is definitely something I suggest checking out. It has surprisingly deep, complex lore, and a sequel, I think, would do a lot to flesh out the world and characters, which is the main thing I want. I want them to expand the core concept. I think the main thing for them at this point is to create more compelling single-player content outside of the arcade mode. Like, the arcade mode is great. It's really deep. It's really mechanically sound, but, like, at this point, I think they need to do more with the idea to really get people to shut up about how, like, oh, it doesn't have enough content. Like, some kind of story mode, some kind of real sort of growth, I should say. ARMS is great. Oops. Yes, I really like Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Everybody has to be down on the Switch. Okay, so did no one really make that ARMS article? I guess I could look it up on Twitter. Let's see. It was on Twitter where I saw it, but I didn't. ARMS. Okay. Yeah, that's the problem with this game. You can never find out any information on it because the name is so genericized. ARMS comic. I feel sorry for Art. What are you talking about? Like, okay, I cannot believe it's this difficult to find stuff. Okay. Whatever. It's definitely coming. I can promise you that. Oh, maybe we can talk about it tomorrow. I'm a big ARMS fan, so maybe I can stream it a bit. We'll have to see. It'll definitely be interesting to see playing it again after a bit of a break. It's been a while. So yeah, my final topic today is, of course, Watership Down, the classic novel that I think I have it lying somewhere around here. Watership Down, the classic fantasy story featuring rabbits trying to survive a hostile environment. Now, it sounds kind of like a fringe thing, but apparently this is considered a classic, and I can see why. Now, having finished it, like just a couple of hours ago on Audible, I listened to the audiobook. I have to say, it's probably one of the best books I've listened to in a long time. I was pretty impressed with everything when I was actively listening to it. A lot of times I just had it in and was like tuning out to it, so I wasn't following all of the intricacies, which I think is where the novel really shines. But from what I did hear and what I did experience, I got a very compelling story with interesting situations revolving an interesting kind of character, like an ordinary group of rabbits, like just trying to find a new home, and it really speaks volumes about the quality, the talent of the writer, in which he can make such a simple idea so unique and so compelling, with like rabbits and their culture and how like their behavior is explained through like fables, and how like rabbits can sort of have their own kind of personalities, and it just blends together just splendidly, and I found it to be a complete joy to read, a complete classic, one that I think I would recommend to almost anyone. I found it to be an extremely interesting sort of an extremely interesting novel. I thought it tackled very strong subjects. I thought it did a really good job of implementing rabbit sort of a culture into it, like sort of portraying them as creatures that are not so different from us when you get right down to it, or sort of like the same, having their own myths that sort of tie into their understanding of the world. It's so complex. It's so engaging, and honestly, some of my favorite parts of this were listening to how the Prince of 1,000 Enemies, El Herrera, who I loved. I loved that so much that I put it in YouTube, and I came up with this thing, which is apparently an album, a cover song about how awesome the Prince of 1,000 Enemies actually is. But yeah, it's so interesting to see like how they sort of explain how rabbits are hunted down by all these creatures, because of course like rabbits are like this highly preyed upon species. It's so good, so interesting. It covers so many great ideas, and very, very impressive. And the story behind it is kind of heartwarming too. It's this is kind of a trend I've been noticing. A lot of my favorite stories seem to be shit that parents came up with when trying to entertain their kids, right? Because like The Princess Bride did this. I need to pick up a copy of The Princess Bride, the actual book. Watership Down did it, and I'm kind of wondering what else I've read that did this, because it must be my favorite genre. Stories that parents tell their kids. And I don't like Richard Adams' kids must be like super fucked up, because he was telling them all this shit when they were like 6 and 7 or something like that, like about rabbits just like killing each other and going to war, and like I don't know, like English. The English have this really weird take on like what's acceptable for children to experience. I don't know what the deal with that is, but damn this book is good. I'm so impressed. Definitely the best book I've read so far. I actually started it last year, so I don't want to say I finished it this year. I actually just only got now back into finishing it, because I've been way behind on everything all year. I've been so busy ever since the holiday ended, but Watership Down has my highest recommendation, man. Like, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The voice acting was good. In the Audible version I listened to, the writing was good. The characters were great. The setting was memorable. It had a great, unique idea. There's nothing really... I don't think the novel really had a whole lot of weaknesses, to be completely honest with you. Like, I'm trying to come up with something I didn't like about it. Maybe it drags on a bit too long. Maybe some more major characters could have died. Like, because I hear the movie is, like, brutal. Like, I didn't think the book was all that bad, but I hear the movie in particular is, like, really, really brutal. We'll have to see. I'll have to see when I actually watch it, which I definitely will do eventually. But Watership is probably the best rabbit book ever made. Well, let's Google that. Like, the best rabbit book ever made. Oh no, it doesn't come up. Best children rabbit books. 11 books involving rabbits that get you excited for the Easter Bunny. Oh wait, is Watership down here? Yeah, Alice. Yep, Watership down. It's on here. The Rabbit Angstrom Tetralogy. Binocula. What? Depending on how hard you laugh, you may cry. But I can guarantee that you'll laugh if you pick up Deborah and James Hughes' genre classic for a little light reading. Binocula, the irreverent tale of a household pet who may or may not also be a blood-sucking demon. So it's like Bunny Dracula? Okay. Chocolat, The Tales of Beetle the Bard by J.K. Rowling. Oh, wow. Mr. Rabbit and the Lovely Prison. Damn, that rabbit looks really creepy. It's the legs, man. What is wrong with that thing? Ulysses. Oh, definitely got to read that. Yeah, I gotta read that. I don't think I own a copy. So yeah, Watership Down did pop up. It wasn't like the rabbit story, but I think it was the only one around those that was literally about rabbits. The adult ones, anyway. Oof. Well, I guess it's not an adult book. It was intended for children, apparently. But oof. Love Watership Down. Arms is not gimmicky. It is a 3D fighting game with a lot of technical depth. I didn't find anything gimmicky about it. I thought it was great. All right, so is that everything I wanted to talk about? Have I really been going for an hour? Wow, unbelievable. An hour every day. I should aim for, I suppose. LeeLive. I was wondering, should I start at 9 rather than 8:30? Do you think that's a good idea? Is like, because I noticed people weren't on when I think it would give me a bit more of a break when I first get back, and then when I first get up, I should say, and get ready to stream. Like maybe 9 would be a better, and then like 9 to 10. Because like I actually did this just 8 before I came on, and maybe 9 would be a better time to start streaming. I don't know. I do like my 8:30 timing, but I think 9 might be easier to remember. Who knows? Maybe I'll experiment, but I mean, obviously I would prefer to stream at night, but for now, it's definitely the morning time. All right, so yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to cover. I guess we could talk more about. I think I'm about done. Unless something else pops out at me, I think I'm done for the day. Let's see. Arms. I guess I could just play this song that I wanted to play. I believe it's like just a fan cover. I don't think I'm going to get in trouble for playing it. You could just see my rabbit ears just flopping around right there. Greatness. I love it. It's fantastic. So yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you all next time. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and check out my books on Amazon. Next,